Hi, this is Gary. Welcome to today's video. The end of June, the end of another month, and the month's flying by nowadays. So today we're going to wrap up the month of June by taking a look at the pens and the inks that I've been using this month. I'm going to give you a rating for them and then briefly discuss why I gave it that rating. So join me now, down on the mat, let's take a look at these pens. So here we are down on the mat, time to jump straight in. So at position number 6 is this one. This is the Lamy Safari. This has got a broad nib on it. The pen itself looks really nice. And look at that gorgeous nib. I really do like the look of the nib on the Safaris. So why have I marked this at number 6? Well, I've got to be honest, it's a nightmare to write with. I've really had the most unpleasant experience with this pen. For fetching my Tomoe River paper, here we go. So as you can see here, this is the Lamy Safari. I started the month with Van Dieman Deciduous Beech. And to me, I just didn't like the ink. It was very dry in this pen. It was hard. It was, to be honest, quite like I was dragging the pen across the paper. It just was not a pleasant experience. Now, what I did is partway through the month, let's jump ahead here, is I changed and I went to Pilot Iroshizuku Momiji. And when I did that, it was such a difference. The pen, it now feels like it's gliding. It's not dragging anymore. It's an actual pleasure to write with. So I think this nib, is a very dry nib and it needs that ink with a little bit more wetness, a little bit more lubrication to enable to fetch out the best. And yes, I know that's just the negatives. There are some positives. Again, I like the shape. I like the fact we've got this flat bottom and top and then the curve there. Not so keen on the clip. I actually quite like the section here. I like the way that it feels in my hand. I like the way it guides my fingers down to here so they're in the right position for writing. But unfortunately, that's not enough to really take away from all that bad parts of it. So unfortunately, that means this month, this comes in position number 6. For the next 5 pens, I will be honest, it really was difficult to pick between them. So I had to get really picky about it, which means at position number 5, is this. This is the Pilot Metropolitan. Again, another nice pen. I actually enjoy using this pen. $38.50. That's not bad. Roughly the same price as that Lamy Safari. It's a Japanese pen, which means the nib is very fine. So this is a fine nib on here. Show you the nib. You know, it looks really nice. But as we can see from my writing samples, I'll fetch in that Tomoe River paper again. It is a very, very fine line. Really is. I mean, one of my issues with this fine line, yes, it looks nice on paper, but it's hiding the character of the ink. So the ink isn't really able to shine as I'd like to see it do so. Yes, I know it's a Japanese fine nib, so I do expect it. There's nothing unexpected with this. It does what it says, but I had to rank these and all this had to come into account. The actual pen itself, it's another one. It's a fairly, well, I'm not going to say a standard shape, but it's a fairly common shape. It's a bit like that torpedo or that cigar type shape. I like the little bit of silver trim that's on it. I like this pattern. The section, well, it's a little bit on the thin side, but not uncomfortably so. As I've said before, I hold my pens right down near the bottom. This one fits quite nicely. You know, it's not uncomfortable. Can write for a long time with it, so it's not uncomfortable for longer writing sessions. It's purely the fact it's that fine line. So for this reason, I've got to mark this pen at position number 5. Just going to reposition my paper so we've got the remaining 4 pens and inks in the camera. There we go. So position number 4 for this month goes to the Wing Sun 699. Again, I'm being really harsh with this. I love the look of this pen, I really do. I love the weight, I love the feel. It's actually not a bad writer either. Let me just take the cap off for you. You know, there we go. Really nice pen. I love, again, the look of that nib. I think that's a number 6 nib, so it's one I could swap for other nibs if I want to. This one is a vacuum filler. You can actually see there's still plenty of ink in there. This writes and writes and writes. It never seems to run out. So why have I marked it down? Well, One of the issues is with this filler cap. It's not going to do it this time. This filler cap here keeps falling off. Falling off so much that I'm actually now writing with it without this cap on. So I only put it on when I'm closing the pen up. And when it's closed up, it's fine, but that's because it's screwed onto the body then. But yeah, it literally drops off after about 10 seconds of writing. The other issue I've got is here, at the bottom here, I'm just going to slightly work this. I don't know if you can see, there we go, there's a cap off. I don't know if you can see inside, there's a little seal here. What this does is this seals the section off from the body. An issue again I've been having is, yes, it does work, it does seal it off, but it also keeps it sealed when I'm writing, so that the pen, after about half a page, starts to run out of ink, which is a shame because it writes beautifully when it is writing. So again, I've had to mark it down for that. Just pop this back together. Fetching that Tomoe River book. There we go. Here we are. So look at this. It's a really beautiful colour on the paper, isn't it? Love the colour of this ink. It's a nice dark brown. And you can see why it's called chocolate brown. Now, it's not really evident too much on here, but as I get down towards the bottom, you can see here where the ink is starting to run out because of that issue with the seal. But we're getting all this lovely shading coming through as well. Absolutely love this pen and ink combination. But because of the issues with that filler cap, because of the issues with that seal, I have to knock it down. The other thing I've noticed with this is now that the ink is running low, I'm starting to get a lot of skipping. Now, I think that's because ideally these should be at least half full. So I'm not going to mark it down too much because of that. It's again just something that I'm noticing. But with everything being said, this still only comes in at position number 4. Let's try again. This comes in position number 4, put against the correct pen this time. Let's go straighten the notepad up. It looks a bit wonky, doesn't it? Right, let's get rid of this pen. Position number 3 this month goes to the Jinhao X750. Again, it's a gorgeous pen. I love using it. The ink flow from this, not had any problems with it. It's a massive pen in terms of size. Look at that, it fits really nicely in my hand. It's a heavy pen, you can really feel it's there. Like the Wing Sun, it's got that number 6 nib. Nice nib on here, all silver. I do like the two-tone colour on the Wing Sun, but at the end of the day, it's not what the nib looks like, it's how it writes that matters. Pop that back on. I've had no issues when I've been writing with it. Just look at this, look at that beautiful colour. This North African Violet really does come out nicely. Yeah, it just goes through and through. It works and works and works. Haven't seen much in the way of sheening. What I have seen is actually there's hints of black coming through. So if we're looking on here, the I there looks black to me. The bottom of the D looks black. The L there looks black. So there's that black shade coming through as well. I think that looks really nice. It fetches that little bit of character into the pen. I did have an issue with it, and that was near the end of the month. It literally stopped writing. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to start writing again. So what I ended up doing is taking it apart, giving it a good clean, and then it started up again. So I think that may have been a result of previous inks, maybe they caused the problem, or because this ink was running low, maybe there just wasn't enough coming from behind to push the rest of the ink through. But it didn't really spoil it for me because it was really easy to fix. The combination of these two, you can see down here, is really, really wet. I can't say well enough how much I loved writing with this ink. So I loved this pen, I loved the combo, I loved the line it puts down, I loved the weight of it, I loved the size of it. The only thing that really let it down, as I say, was that part way through the month when it stopped writing. Which means for this month, this comes in at position number 3. And I got it in the right box this time. 2 more pens left. At position number 2 is the Delike New Moon 2. I love the colour of this pen. Really looks nice. I love the shape of the pen. You know, for me, I like these flat caps. If I take that cap off, it's a smallish nib. You know, I would have liked that if that was one of those number 5 nibs, but that's fine. I can live with it. It's not causing me any problems because it writes really well. At the end of the day, for me, all a pen is a tool which lets me get ideas out of my head and down onto paper and that I enjoy to use. It is nice. It writes really nicely. Again, for fetching that Tomoe River paper, Look at the colour of this. This is with Diamine Syrah. I did start off with Diamine Ancient Copper, but it ran out on the first day, and that was before I had a chance to write in the Tomoe River. So unfortunately, I don't have a sample of that. But I put the Syrah in because I thought it would be a nice colour match, and it is. I see a lot of character coming through in this ink. You know, you can see shade in there. It really is nice. I mean, we've talked about the shading. Look at the cross of that T and that T. The O there going into the M. We get all these different colours coming through. And to me, that character makes an enjoyable thing to read after I've done all the writing. I love writing with this pen. So why is it not position number 1? Well, one of the things that puts me off with this pen, and I'm being really, really picky here, it's a little bit on the short side. I find with this pen, I have to write with it posted, and my normal preference isn't to use a pen posted. That's the only really negative thing I can say about this. Other than that, it is a joy to use, it's a joy to write with. So that means position number 2 goes to the Delike New Moon 2, and this time, there we go, I wrote it in the correct place. That means by default, at position number 1, it goes to this. This is a Kaigelu 316. The pattern of this, it's called Allure. I absolutely love this. I'm just going to go around with it. This to me is one of the nicest patterns I've seen on a pen. It's slightly translucent, so you can actually see through there. You can see the converter. That doesn't bother me. If anything, it adds a little bit more interest to it. Let me take the cap off. Again, we've got one of those number 6 nibs, a nice size nib. It's got that duotone there, so again, I like that. That brings some interest to the nib. It's a nice wide section, fits really nice between my fingers. If I was going to be negative, you can't post it. It goes up onto that cap and it's really loose, although it didn't come off then, and it makes it way too long. I think this, to me, is about the perfect size for a pen. I absolutely love the looks, I love the feel of it, and I love the weight of it. Let me fetch in the Tomoe River paper. Here we go. Now, to me, there's not a lot of shading that I usually see with this. Yes, there's a little bit, but not as much as I'd like to see, but that's fine. This Diamine Soft Mint with this pen, this is the perfect combination. I'm now on the 3rd fill of this pen this month. That's how much I like it, and I've not even thought about changing the ink. And to be honest, I don't think I'll try another ink in there. I think I'll stick with this Soft Mint because to me, the colour match is virtually spot on. The writing is really nice, the flow's really nice, the weight of the pen's really nice. There's nothing in this pen that I could say I don't like. And that's why, for this month, this is at position number 1. Just going to clear this off, then I'll fetch all the pens in for one final look. So these are the 6 pens for this month. Position number 6, I've got the Lamy Safari, that was 37 Australian dollars. At position number 5, I've got the Pilot Metropolitan. That was 38 Australian dollars. Position number 4 is the Wingsung 699, 37 Australian dollars. Position number 3 is the Jinhao X750, $6. Position number 2 is the Delike New Moon 2, $17. And at position number 1, the Kaigelu 316, 24 Australian dollars. So this just goes to show you don't need to spend a lot of money to get a really nice pen and a really nice writing experience. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What pens and inks have you been using this month? Why not drop a comment down below, share those pens and inks, let's kickstart a conversation about them. Please hit the thumbs up button, give the video a like. Every time someone likes or comments on a video, well, it just helps the YouTube algorithm to surface the content for other people. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.